Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Creative Juggle Joy podcast. I'm Kaylie Edwards, your host for today, and today I am diving into something that has been on a lot of minds lately. The 2025 US tariffs and how they're affecting small creative businesses. Now, I know this is a topic that's been causing a hell of a lot of concern, particularly for makers, crafters and small print-on-demand sellers like you. And while I'm no longer in handmade business myself, I understand the strain this kind of change can put on your creative work. And I know this has already destroyed a lot of businesses that were solely relying on suppliers from places like China. After seeing how this is affecting so many of you, I wanted to take the time today to really address the emotional impact and how we can navigate these changes. There are real challenges here, and I want to be upfront and acknowledge that it can feel absolutely devastating for those who are seeing their costs double overnight and their businesses end. For many of you, your entire business is built around products like plushies or stickers, washi tape or other items sourced from overseas, particularly China, which has been the most affected. And I get it. These products aren't just your business, they're your passion. You've poured your heart into creating something that you love and your audience loves too. The thought of having to pivot or change your product line is so overwhelming. It feels like your dream you've been building is being crushed by forces beyond your control. And I want to acknowledge that because it's heartbreaking. I've seen so many businesses on the likes of Threads and Instagram and other platforms that have said now that they're having to close, or they're having to take back their day job, or have really had to consider what the hell they're going to do. But here's what I want to tell you today. That you are not alone. This doesn't have to be the end of your business. It's about adapting, diversifying and finding new ways to create that are less vulnerable to these external factors. So let's talk about what's happening with these tariffs. In April 2025, the US government implemented a 10% baseline tariff on all imports, and for countries with large trade deficits, like China, the tariff is even higher, up to 125%. This means that materials and finished products from places like China are becoming much more expensive. And for small businesses, especially those who rely on products like enamel pins, plushies, paper goods like washi tape and other goods that can only be found in China, this is a huge blow. Here's the problem for many crafters. If you're sourcing from China, those costs could skyrocket or already skyrocketing. For example, if you were importing something like $4,000 worth of products for wholesale that you are buying in to then put your designs or your art on to help make your products, those same items could now cost you over $8,000. The math is simple and the impact is immediate. If you can't absorb those costs, you're left with one difficult choice: raise your prices or cut back. And this is where the emotional side comes in. If your whole business was built around creating products that depend on imports, I know it feels like the ground has shifted beneath you. You might feel like your dream is completely disintegrating. I get that. I've been there in a position where I've had to completely change my business. It's hard not to feel like your business is being taken away by forces outside of your control. However, this doesn't mean that your business has to fold. Change doesn't always mean giving up what you love. Instead, it could be a chance to diversify, to move towards other options that don't depend on rising input costs or supply chain vulnerabilities. You don't have to give up on your passion or products, you just have to find creative ways to keep building or to pivot. I've seen it happen. Creatives that have expanded successfully their income streams, so they still do physical products, but they also diversified their income streams with other sources like education or digital products or becoming a content creator as well. And I know that's not for everybody, but there are ways. Like a lady I follow, Kaylie Rodriguez on YouTube, who's a talented artist. She now incorporates digital products, workshops and other online services to keep her business thriving in these uncertain times. The key is diversification, finding new ways to keep your income flowing without relying solely on products impacted by these tariffs. So how can we diversify? First, digital products are your best friend right now. If you're struggling with physical products and physical goods, consider creating printables, workshops, digital downloads, like patterns or brush packs, templates, or help guides. This allows you to create once and sell forever without any concerns about tariffs or supply chain disruptions. Another option is to explore online services like coaching or consulting. If you have the knowledge about your craft or you have skills that can be turned into educational resources, there are people who would pay to learn from you. Whether it's hosting one-on-one sessions or creating group workshops or teaching can be a great way to bring in income. Don't feel like you have to abandon what you love just because the products are harder to source. Also, don't forget about licensing. If your designs are unique and you've been creating great patterns or artwork, you might consider licensing your designs to be used on a wider range of products. This allows you to keep your income coming in without physically producing the items yourself. Lastly, build a community. Consider using platforms like Patreon or Ko-Fi to generate support directly from your audience that you may already have. These platforms allow your fans to fund your work consistently. Without you needing to rely on physical product sales, it's a great way to feel connected to your audience while also generating steady income. I know many of you are feeling the weight of these changes and it's easy to feel defeated. And I can't imagine how some of you may even be feeling right now. But I've seen firsthand how difficult it can be when a business feels like it's out of your control. Mine was for different reasons, but I still had to pivot. And I wish I had gone a different route, but at the time, my mindset wasn't in the right space. I was just finding out I was having a baby with no real support but nearby for me to be able to keep creating handmade products. But I'm here to tell you that this is not the end. It's an opportunity for growth. Although I didn't see it at the time, I felt like my heart was breaking when I had to change my business. But every challenge is an invitation to innovate, to adapt, and to pivot your business in new directions. And sometimes you don't see the opportunities, but there will be some. And sometimes you'll even look back and think, actually, that was the best for me. If your heart is still in the product you've been selling, I want you to know that it's still possible to bring that dream to life in new ways. Yes, you may need to change products or adjust your approach, but don't give up on what you've built. You've already shown that you can create something special. Now it's about finding new ways to make that work in the current landscape. So if you're looking for more actionable steps to help you pivot, diversify, or start building income streams that aren't dependent on overseas suppliers, be sure to check out my guide, Beyond Handmade, which has over 200 plus ideas to get you started with different scalable income streams. Also, I'm running my From Handmade to Scalable course, which dives deeper into how you can transition your business from handmade only to a more scalable model and even a hybrid model that works in today's economy. It's time to embrace new opportunities and take control of your creative business. I know some might not feel like this is an opportunity for them right now. Some might completely feel defeated and don't even want to hear this. But this episode is here for you when you're ready. And my course is there for you when you're ready, and it's okay if it's not for you. But thank you so much for tuning in today, and remember, even though these changes are challenging and very devastating for some, there's always a way forward. Keep creating, keep juggling, and most importantly, please keep finding joy in the process. Until next time.